Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Monday Motivators for August 14th, 2017. I am really excited to tell you what we're going to learn tonight from our beloved Valerie Bledsoe. We have part 2 of the Holistic Health for Business Builders series that Denise Norbert kicked off for us 2 weeks ago. And Valerie's going to be sharing with us Soul's very basic program and why it works so that we can feel comfortable using it and recommending it as we grow our businesses. I feel like these trainings are so valuable, not only in building up our knowledge, but also our confidence as we go from day to day. And whatever things that we do each day, it just refreshes some things maybe that we already know and teaches us some new things maybe that we've never thought of before. So before we turn it over to Val, I wanted to just go over 2 announcements. One is that the new AE1 training course began today for the second group of people that didn't get in on the first one, and I would highly recommend it. It is an excellent training. It will really push you, so make sure you have the time dedicated. It's just, you know, a few minutes each day, but it really is a fantastic training program with people that are dedicated. I feel like it's been a training program that we've needed for a long time, and so I'm really excited to see where Soul is going to go with getting all of us trained by this awesome group that we have with that in those awesome group of teachers. Second, Soul is all set to experience Canada and New England in 2018. And as most of us know, the SET trip stands for Soul Elite Trip. And the qualifications for this trip, this is called the SET Trip Plus this year. And there's qualifications because they're opening it up to more than just Soul Elite. And there's a form on the Soul Business page that goes over those qualifications that you can look for. I believe it's also been sent to your email. If you did not receive that email and would like to, just reach out to someone in Monday Motivators or your upline and they can get you that email. But one of the things we wanted to bring out is that you can actually earn an extra day in Montreal by qualifying as Soul Prime each month of the qualification period. And that qualification period starts this month, August, and it runs through April. So we want to make sure we're hitting that Soul Prime qualification early in the month to qualify us for that. So with that, I will turn it over to Valerie.
Okay, get my screen shared here. Yeah. All right, everybody. I'm so excited for this opportunity. Most of you know just how much I absolutely love to teach. So with that, let's get started. So tonight I want to present about Soul Naturals Basic Program and why it works, or at least in my opinion, why it works over time, what I've found. Denise and I thought it was very important that the two of us got together and kind of brainstorm with all the years that we've had out in the field doing this and create a simplified way of understanding what we do so that you can help more people. So I want to go over a little bit about how this was derived. This wasn't just something that one day landed, at least in my lap. It was some information that I gathered from observation of 37 years working with people. I really am fascinated with the way people respond to things, and I like to put 2 and 2 together kind of in my mind and start to, I probably would have enjoyed sociology because I combine all the emotions along with what's going on with them, and I just start putting 2 and 2 together and kind of road mapping that out. I do have a good understanding of the body's foundation, and I kept that in mind when putting this together over the years. One of my goals has always been to get the most follow through by the client. And I will tell you, hands down, after all this time of doing this, since I got a hold of the Soul Naturals products, I have the highest follow through rate that I have ever had in my life with my clients. And if you think about it, why wouldn't we? They feel better, so they stay taking what they're doing, and so they get better. So they're going to follow through. And I always want to do something that's cost effective for the client as well. So that's all been kept in mind. And then the final fifth reason is I have always had a goal of addressing the most concerns with the least amount of product. And let me give you a little example of that. Let's say someone walked in with a plethora or a large amount of symptoms. All these symptoms right near here are nothing other than symptoms of food sensitivities. But what if they walked in wanting a supplement for each one of these symptoms? Or if a person by accident and not knowing any better, starts saying, well, we need to use this supplement for the foggy thinking, and let's use this supplement for the sore throat. Let's use this supplement for the dizziness. Pretty soon, you're looking at a whole lot of pills and supplements to swallow, and probably not a very happy person for a lot of different reasons. One is the mountain of everything they're taking. The other is the cost involved. And I tell you, often when you're addressing someone this way, just like Denise talked about in the holistic mindset, you're absolutely missing the underlying issue as to what's going on. So now let's step back in time a little bit to when Soul began. And I was one of the fortunate ones that was involved with Soul on the day that it opened. And so I do remember that in the beginning, we only had 7 products. Can you believe that? To me, that's extremely exciting whenever we got that, because I thought this is so simple that anybody can do this. Well, there was an additional benefit that happened when we only had these 7 products. And that was it gave us an opportunity to truly begin to understand the basics of how the products were working. And this is in by no means whatsoever even a remotely extensive list, that covers everything, but each of these products can do. But in general, you can see, and I've kind of tried to focus it on the basics. And a lot of you guys already know this. So Vital, we're looking at, because of the green in it, the chlorophyll is very alkalizing. We all know that it gets in and works with stress, digestion, mental outlook, inflammation. I mean, you could go on and on with the endocrine system, highlighting the thyroid, on and on and on. Cinnamate, we would come in, we'd get the digestion, blood sugar support and focus. ProBio IQ, digestion, mental outlook, immune support, bowel support. And keep in mind, remember, this was all we had to work with in the beginning. Adaptable, the mental outlook, stress and endurance. Soul Megas, we were looking at hormone support, brain support, inflammation. Soulflex BI, aiding in inflammation and pain reduction and digestion. And Vertizymes, we're looking at digestion, inflammation, and pain reduction. So how did we take this? How are we able to help so many people with so few of products? And that was a thing that a lot of people were concerned about in the beginning, and it made it hard for them to understand, why were we getting the results we were getting? Well, it was kind of an interesting thing that I saw over time. I saw a pattern begin to emerge. It was kind of funny because someone said something to me about they thought I'd created some program that Soul had on there, one of the deals that you could buy in the back office. I said, if they had my program that I would sell, it's going to have those 3 products in it right there. Soul Vital, Cinnamate, and ProBio. Over time, and keep in mind, I do a lot of extensive things when I'm working with people. So not only am I running a scan and doing iridology, I'm doing the muscle testing, and consistently over and over and over, these were coming up as the basics. So this was the pattern that I saw. I would start the people with that, and then I would pick one product from the remainder of the products as my target area combination. And with that, we got happy people because they felt better. And the neat thing was, someone was coming in with all these symptoms I wasn't having to deal with, and I would, to try and figure out what every symptom was tied to, because I knew at a gut level, things had to be tied to a core. I would rather address the core than somebody out with less product and get more results in the long run. So notice, just like I said, we only have 4 products to manage at this point. This also results in less overwhelm for our clients or our customers. And how much of the time are we not getting a client or a customer that's already in overwhelm? The worst thing we could do is send them out with so many products that they're looking at that, and we're both knowing that they're not going to follow through and take it. We need simple, and that's one of the beauties of Soul, is the simplicity. So I want to look at the specifics and help you understand why did or was or does this continue to work. So otherwise, why is the Soul Vital working? Some of you heard me when I lectured down in Dallas, a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. I was talking about sodium and potassium in the body. And what I had found was over time, when I was going through the different muscle testing points, that the Soul Vital was hands down 99.9% of the time becoming the item that people were testing for that would balance this in the body. And this is crucial because when sodium and potassium are balanced in the cells, all of a sudden the body is able to let the nutrition in and it's able to take the trash out. Otherwise, it's basically like your body's window shopping, or it's standing at a parade and it's watching the Vital and the other nutrition go by and it's going, wow, that sure looks good. Wish I could have some of that. Well, we don't want to just take stuff for the idea of taking it. We want to take stuff that's actually going to make a difference. So the end result that I was seeing was when we would start with the Vital, the domino effect would happen in the body. And all of a sudden, the other points in the body, probably about 85% of them, would all of a sudden start to test strong. So I realized then that we were truly addressing the body at a cellular level. And keep in mind, too, I was not just testing this one product with people. I was testing multiple products and continuously getting the same results. So the next thing to look at is, why was the Cinnamate coming up as my next product that was continuously testing? I realized that it, too, was addressing the body at a cellular level. Because over time, I had realized that ultimately, many of the health conditions that people come in dealing with do have an underlying blood sugar balance issue. It's just not to a diagnosable state yet. And you know what? That's a good thing. We really don't want to just, be having to wait until we are at that state when we're bad enough to where a doctor can diagnose a specific disease. I would much rather be proactive and work with the body ahead of time. So people's diseases, they don't just wake up one day and have a disease. Some of these things take months, some of them years, some of them, decades to come about. And so what I was finding was we were having the underlying blood sugar issues along with the sodium potassium. Let's start with that and see what happens. The next thing was the Cinnamate was supporting that digestion. By allowing for better breakdown of our nutrients in the food, no matter what people were eating, they were going to be able to get more nutrition out of it. And because the Vital was paving the way with allowing the nutrition to get in the cell, we kind of had a nice little team that was starting to form. So next we want to look at, why was the probiotic making such a big difference? Well, there's a couple reasons. One is we really do have an over-medicated society. And even though, for instance, I can count one time in my life that I have ever been on an antibiotic, and of course then I had a reaction to it. But, I wasn't even thinking that, I would need a good probiotic because I hadn't been exposed to all this. But you know what? With all the traveling I do, with the way water systems are, even taking showers in places, you're picking up medications through everyday exposure. So whether or not they are in your everyday regimen or not on purpose, you are exposed to them. Those medications will decrease the amount of good bacteria in your body. Also, our diet does not have the right amount or near enough fermented foods for the average person. Fermented foods are going to be critical for digestion and keeping the quote-unquote good bacteria in charge. And so, along with not enough fermented foods, no matter how well you try and eat organically based, the nutritional density simply is not there with the foods. And so by adding in the good bacteria, what we find is we start to get another foundational effect going on, and it's in the colon. And I like to say that we begin the evictions. So we're either starting to get the bad bacteria back to where it's not in charge anymore, and or by doing that, we start to get the colon moving. So now let's look and see what we've had happen. We've had the Vital allow the nutrition to start to come in. We've allowed the Cinemate to basically make certain we're breaking it down properly and allowing the liver and pancreas and gallbladder and everything involved to start to the digestive system going. And we've got the probiotic in getting the colon to start to move stuff out. So now we do have a very good system in place for nutrition coming in, trash going out. And so now let's look at all the options that we have now. We have a lot of options for our target combinations. For instance, let's say that we had a person coming in that had a lot of mood swing issues and some depression going on. Well, then my target combination that I was adding might be the adaptable. If they were having complaints with sleep issues or just all the time bloating and gassiness and just knowing that they were reacting to food, well, then my target combination might be Verdazymes. And I think you can kind of see where this is going. Solflex PI, I would be pulling in and thinking of if they were walking in with cholesterol issues or migraine issues or food sensitivities or pain and inflammation. Solmegas I would be looking at for hormone issues, issues with the brain and thinking, issues with the brain when they lay down to go to sleep and their brain is running lists of things that they need to do. The first thing I look for is, are they getting enough good fats in their diet? We could be looking at the nervous system and the skin. Balance, calm, lift, and clarify. So easy to make a mixture of those or use them individually on the bottom of the feet as a target combination or over the liver. Or just a pulse point. You can bring it in if we were having some stomach issues with nervousness in the stomach, maybe that became my target combination. And we took some blend, a blend with the Calm and a carrier oil, and we applied it over the abdomen, and that became our target. Many of you have heard how I like to use the Solflex AC over the liver to aid in detoxing or morning sickness or the bowel moving. Sol Maca. We're going to look at not only just with libido and fertility, we're also going to think of it with lung issues because that cordyceps in there is outstanding for lung capacity. So we can think about endurance for our athletes. The Sol Clear SI might be my target combination for anyone with long-standing sinus issues, allergy issues, believe it or not, urinary type issues. There's a lot of different things that the herbs in that combination can do. Sol Complete. Let's say that we've got someone that really does have and live on the standard American diet. You know what? My ideal target combination for them is going to be to suggest that they start using the Complete to start their day. Why wouldn't I want to give them the opportunity to get good nutrition for $2 a day that's cheaper than what they're going to get eating out, and it's going to hold them and make them feel full longer? Omnitox DC, if we're talking about any type of detoxing. Parasite work, there's exposure to toxins. The Renew, often I combine that with the Vital during the day. If we've got people that have had issues with adrenal exhaustion, I like it during the day. If they're having issues with sleep, they might use it in the evening. Excel might be my target combination if we're talking about menopause issues or helping the brain to kick on or eyesight issues. So you can see by using those as a target combination, all of a sudden we've got that one extra thing to help draw in the program that we've already created to hit that target for us. One of the other things that's so important is to listen to your clients or customers. So many of these people have not been exposed to this type of lifestyle. Or maybe they're just too overwhelmed to be able to really easily follow through what you're suggesting. So no matter what, I always talk to the client about committing to 3 months. Remember that you're helping them to create a new habit. And the reason for the 3 months is at 3 months' time, 75% of your red blood cells have changed out and they're brand new. This is really important for rebuilding the body on a cellular level. Also, your most healthy person who's done everything right, they may not see something initially as a change with taking the program. But 3 months' time, you've got that much shifting over, and the adaptogens over time build up and you get a better and better response to them. They're going to notice a difference. I like to check on them several times during the first week of use because maybe maybe they came in with lots of issues, and when they started taking this, it was all of a sudden the body's letting the trash be taken out. That often doesn't feel good. You need to help educate them that the body's doing exactly what it was designed to do, because it's a totally different way of looking at the body. Just like Denise talked about, we're looking at the body holistically, not as individual parts. So keeping them informed and educating, letting them know that they're not doing this by themselves, maybe suggesting that how they alter their program. It's very important to keep in touch with them. At 1 month's time of being on a program, I always like to do a follow-up appointment or call or something very in-depth with them, because say they walked in with 10 different symptoms, at that point of 1 month in, often I've got at least 8 of the symptoms that have disappeared. That's going to help me to separate out maybe one other area that we might want to add in a second target combination for if it's needed. So remember with this, we have 2 additional goals when we're doing this. We are wanting to make certain that these people are not overwhelmed and that they are able to follow through and take their programs, because a lot of people have the best of intentions, but I'm sure a lot of you have ran into people, or maybe you were one of those people, that when you would tell people that they wouldn't drink water because it made them sick. Well, they're not drinking water because it's actually trying to clean them out. They're not understanding that. What are they going to deal with when they get really dense nutrition? So we want to make certain that we're, again, taking care of them. And finally, when they do feel better, and we know that if people stick with Soul long enough that they do feel better, they're going to start telling others. And we want a system that's duplicatable. What I've just showed you is very, very simple. Vital, Cinemate, and ProBio, and pick a target combination. Very rarely do I personally ever use more than that, for 2 reasons. One, I have found it to simply not be needed. And secondly, if I do it, it's because they're truly in a crisis situation. And I do mean they're backed up against a wall, just an absolute need. And even sometimes just the simplest of things is all that is needed. So I hope that this is helpful for you guys. I always like to keep things simple. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to message me and ask away. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Valerie. I just love learning from you.
Thank you, dear.
Every single time. I have like 3 pages of notes here, but I think that it is so helpful because any one of us can do that. Remembering Vital, Cinemate, and Probiotic, and then adding in another target combination, and then just using that system of asking them to commit to a 3-month program, checking on them several times to help them understand what's going on in their body, and then following up a month out so that they remember that this is the reason why they're feeling better. Sometimes they think, oh, I feel great, I don't need anything, and they forget how bad they felt before they started. So thank you so very much. I know that I can speak for everyone in saying that that was incredible, and I think that this webinar will be replayed, or this Zoom will be watched over and over again, so I'm glad I didn't forget to hit record. Right now, I am going to thank everyone that's watching the recording, but I'm going to end the recording, and we're going to go to our share time. So we hope to see you on here live next time so that you can share with us as well.